There are two teams in the NFL producing over 400 yards of offense every single game this year, and the Niners are one of them. It's them and the Baltimore Ravens. This team moves the football with greater ease than all but one team in the NFL. Full stop. You can't, again, I'm not interested in your feelings about anything. Statistics say they move the football better than any team not named Baltimore Ravens. They've got the fourth highest passing attack by yardage. They got the fourth best yards on the ground. You're not a top 5 team in either category if your offensive line is a trash can emoji. It's not who they are. Their defense, as many headaches as you've gotten from their defense, still the 10th best in football in terms of yardage, and there's like 5 teams in front of them in terms of yardage who have played one fewer games. So everyone is wanting to say that this is just a bad year and they're a bad team and they're going nowhere fast. Like, I disagree with that. And I really think that they're going to get the one guy who is more qualified to solve your red zone problems than any other person in the world, in Christian McCaffrey. And I don't know what Christian McCaffrey is going to be. Christian McCaffrey 3.0, 2.0, whatever version of McCaffrey we're about to get. But if he is half is what they had last year, Larry, that's a player that could absolutely put them over the top. Watch wide receivers start to separate a little bit better when linebackers and safeties got to keep their eyes on Christian McCaffrey. Watch that right there create a little separation.
But I mean, okay, but he's got 2 Achilles. I mean, there is no bigger injury in sports than Achilles.
But
so I don't think you can count on him. I mean, I don't think you can rely on him. I don't think you can. So you're going to put your entire season in a guy who's got 2 Achilles, and it's like, if you're not going to do anything because you're just going to bank that some guy who, you've no idea. He might last one game. He might last one half of one game. I mean, to me, that's risky.
With the contract extension they gave him, they have put their eggs in the Christian McCaffrey basket. It's not about what I want to do.
Yeah, but there's 2 ways to do that. You don't have, just because you're paying a guy a contract doesn't mean that you have to give your entire. They're not going to. It's not going to be an acceptable excuse. Injuries are not going to be an acceptable excuse. So it's. You can sit there and say, well, we're going to get Christian back, but you don't know that. You have no idea. I would say that to me, that's not the healthy approach. The healthy approach is don't bank on Christian coming back, pretend that he's not coming back. And then if he comes back, then you're pleasantly surprised. Do not lean on him and don't put, have we not learned our lesson? They put everything on him last year and it didn't work out. They rode him too hard. They got to the finals and he was shot and he fumbled. And, it was like they didn't use their depth. To me, I would pretend he's not even on the team and go about it like, go find another guy. Go find somebody else who can do it.
I don't want to see Christian McCaffrey really in between the 30s. I'm not asking for him to have 25 to 35 touches a game anymore. That guy's probably gone. That ship has sailed. What I need are 15 touches inside the red zone. I need him to be the red zone back for this team. And hopefully that won't put a workload on him that does further damage to either Achilles. The man has had 8 weeks of resting in rehab. And the minute you tell me, like, hey, he's ramping up, he's ready to go again, that means the player plays. And if he gets hurt, look, there was never a scenario where, depending on Christian McCaffrey, didn't have but he could be hurt at the end of this attached to it. That's what it is for everybody. If the player's playing and healthy enough to play, I'm going to assume that he's good enough and healthy enough to be out there, and he should remind me at worst of the player he used to be. I think this is an incredibly accomplished, valuable player that, if he's just 50% of what he used to be, is still better than 100% of just about a lot of other guys. And I think he's the biggest game changer in the room. And if you're telling me that he's not healthy enough to change the room, well, then the Niners will probably come in, with 9 or 10 wins and maybe just be a playoff team, and then probably not hang around that conversation very long.
I'm just saying, don't, you've got a car that's got major problems. Don't plan on taking it cross country, plan on driving it on Saturday. If you really want to keep that car and it's got all kinds of problems, you put it in your garage and you drive it on Sundays. That's the way people drive a car that doesn't have good wheels and, but they have some emotional attachment to. That's how the Niners ought to treat Christian McCaffrey.
Well, they play on Sundays.
Use him as a,
so use him as
a, use him sparingly, and then don't bank on him, and go get somebody else. Make sure that you're covered. Don't put it all on him. And look at it this way: if he surprises you, great. But even if he surprises you, even if he comes out and plays against Tampa, ramps it up this week, plays against Tampa, he's still, in my mind, always going to be one twinge away from up. He's done.
Every player
don't bank on him.
They're all like that.
Yeah, but not like that.
He lives in that universe every single day of his life.
Yeah,
all
but not
players
like
are like that.
Not like this.
Well, here's the deal. If Christian McCaffrey has to die playing football for the 49ers, dies of 2 Achilles injuries on the field, then so be it. Like, that's the deal. Like, he is their best player. So if he says, Coach, I'm healthy, I'm ready, you go out and you ask him to do things that you ask your best football player to do. And
that's
I don't
fine,
think
but you don't bank on him. You don't put the whole season on a guy with 2. I mean, come on, it's not smart. You don't put your entire season on a guy with 2 Achilles. You help him rehab. You want him to rehab. You let him rehab.
That's where you are.
Encourage him to come back, but you also, you can't put. You got too much riding on this season. You can't put everything on this guy getting healthy. I just think that's too tall of an ask. If you want to be one of the solutions, fine. But to me, it's not coincidental that they're ramping him up this week. They're ramping him up this week because they want to find out if he's going to be able to withstand the rigors. And if he can't, I would say we'll see how it goes this week. And even then, it's no guarantee. But if I were them, there's backs all over the place. Go get one.
I'm not saying you bank on the guy. I'm just saying you play him and hope for the best. And I think the best of Christian McCaffrey is the player who solves the Niners' problems in the red zone. So however many plays that means in any game, how with the usage, I really don't give a shit. They need Christian McCaffrey. Playing carefully with their toy is really not like a choice that they get to make anymore. This is it. The 49ers have, how many games they got left? 9?
9. Yep.
Got 9 football games left. All right. You need to win 7 of them. Seriously. So I don't like it. We're all out of excuses. We're all out of wiggle room. All the mulligans,
I disagree with that too.
All the W's that you needed to bank in the first half of the year, you didn't do it. So now it's all hands on deck time. And I don't care who's hurt, who's feeling bad, who's not ready to go, who's tapping out. It's go time. You get 1 bye week. Get this guy healthy. And if he can help you, great. I really think he's going to help the team. I think he's going to be a massive difference maker. And if he isn't, then the season will not be very good.
I don't think it's going to take 11 wins to go to the playoffs, by the way, not in the NFC West. I think they could get there with 9 wins. So I totally disagree with that. They need 7 wins. They don't need 7 wins. They need 9 wins probably to get to the playoffs in this division. That'll be my assessment of it.
Well, we're not too far away. 7 and 9 are not tremendously different numbers.
That's a big difference.
It is. But look,
you only have, you're talking about 2 more wins. Just outrun the Cardinals, outrun the Rams, outrun the Seahawks. Those games head to head are going to mean a lot.
Yep.
But go get yourself another back, because get yourself covered. Make sure you're covered. They run the ball. They run the ball well with a number of different backs, but don't confuse that with any back can run in this system. That's not true. They've done a really good job at getting good backs who can fit their system. But when you run out of backs, you run out of bullets in your gun. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think McCaffrey's going to come back and do anything big this year. You're going to miss all this time. The fact that he's missing all this time means that he's seriously hurt. and seriously hurt means he's probably not going to be very good this year. So we'll see. I don't bank on him doing much. In fact, I think it's probably 50-50 whether he gets hurt on the way to getting back. Because, that's the thing. That's what happened last time. When they tried to ramp him up this summer, he had a setback. And hopefully he won't. But I would say if you're a betting man, you probably would say that he will. And I think it's very likely that they're ramping him up right now.
Did the 49ers send a
because
doctor
they know
to McCaffrey's house to look at him before they agreed to this contract extension?
I don't know. But I mean, they know that if they ramp him up this week and it doesn't work out, they still have, 48 to 72 hours to get something done. I think they're ramping him up so they figure out, what can this guy give us? And if he can't give us anything, we're going to have to go get somebody. The good news is there's a lot of guys out there.
What I think they're going to have to do is play Isaac Guerendo. I mean, that's the thing. Guerendo, I think, is now in the last couple of weeks shown you enough to where you want to further invest in that.
I mean, I disagree. I not that I disagree that he's got some talent, but I mean, he's not an every down back. So he's a complimentary piece.
That's it. But your every down back is Jordan Mason.
Yeah. If he's healthy. I mean, there's another guy who's, got AC joint sprains and looks like he's pretty hurt. So we'll have to see. I mean, I just think they could use one more back. They run the ball a lot. They want to run the ball a lot. And, I just think that they could probably, I mean, the nice thing about it is there's a lot of backs out there. So they could find a running back pretty easily. But, the trade deadline is Tuesday. So if you're going to get somebody, you're probably going to have to trade for somebody in the next couple days. And we'll see. We'll see if Guerendo has got explosive capability. No question about it. And Mason is, I think, a really nice young running back. But what they don't have is they don't have a running back that they can hand it to inside the 5 that will score touchdowns. Guerendo's running into the backs of his offensive linemen, falling down. He's really raw. Mason doesn't have that. He kind of dances at the line. He doesn't have that hit the hole thing. So
here's the thing.
You got to be able to score inside the 5.
They do have that guy. And he's the best in the league at it. And hopefully he's healthy enough to contribute in the second half. And if he is, I think this plane rights itself and stabilizes and starts flying right and picking up wins. Like, I think the Niners could go on a little bit of a roll with Christian McCaffrey appearing as a goal line back who is turning field goals into touchdowns. Right now, ESPN had a stat. Defining stat of the first half, the 49ers at the 57.1 goal-to-go efficiency, which is 29th in the NFL. The consistent inability to cash in for touchdowns when inside the opponent's 10-yard line has popped up repeatedly in both wins and losses. It hurt the most in disappointing defeats against the Rams and the Cardinals, 2 games the 49ers believe they should have won handedly. Again, if Christian McCaffrey can produce 6 touchdowns inside the red zone that otherwise this team would have been settling for